Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be testing some defenses against mechanoid clusters. We have a mechanoid cluster in my test faction, so I think we should go over it together and try some different defenses to see what works best, just like I did in some of my previous videos. A mechanoid cluster, if anyone doesn't know, only came with the royalty DLC. So if you don't have a royalty DLC, you shouldn't see any mechanoid clusters in your game. It's important when you first get hit with a mechanoid cluster to review what's going on in the mech cluster. Sometimes you can actually let your mech cluster sit there for a while and not deal with it as you prepare to handle it, or maybe hope for some other factor to take care of it. Like, you could wait and trigger it so manhunters will attack it. That can always be a useful method. I'm probably not going to showcase that today because you need the subsequent manhunter event and you can't really cause that to happen. But in this case, this is definitely a mechanoid cluster that I would take care of right away, and I'll go over why. When you first get your mech cluster, you're going to want to look for things like shields, mech assemblers, proximity activators, auto mortars, or any large condition-causing structures. We do have an auto mortar. That's always a problem for me. I definitely don't want to sit back and have my colony be mortared. That's also why the game is paused. We also have a low shield, which means any projectiles that are coming in from the ground outside this range will hit the shield and bounce off. We have a high shield, which means any shells, mortar shells that are coming in from outside this range will bounce off. So that means that you have to be a little bit careful with your tactics. You're going to have to take care of the shields or approach and get in range of this low shield, which, because of the turrets, you're not going to want to do. Turrets definitely make approaching a mech cluster a lot more risky. You can use smoke, and I will show what it's like to approach and some of the methods you can use to approach, because we don't always have mortars when we get mech clusters, but it's a lot more risky. Okay, our first method is going to be to use the mortars. And in this case, I'm going to have to start with an EMP shell. Luckily, the person that's operating the EMP mortar is here first. So we'll take off the hold fire for Tova. We'll set the force target. And we're going to want to hit the high shield. We want to hit this high shield anywhere in this range. There it is. So the shield is now down. The rest of my folks no longer need to hold fire, and they should also target the mech clusters with shells. And we're being approached. So everyone else, except for my non-violent, please go over here. They're coming. And we're getting auto-mortared. So this is where it starts to get a little bit frisky. Getting auto-mortared while you're defending your base. Mitch just got hit. And lost an eye. Start EMPing down the line. Blackkeeper is binging on food. The Scythers went down, the Centipedes approach, as well as the Pikemen. Mitch is on a daze. 2 mental breaks while you're trying to defend the base. That's rough. Squid, stay right here. Okay. Meg on alcohol bench. Oh boy. We're losing people left and right. That auto mortar was close. But that does mean we have some time. And, ooh, miss stunning. Miss stunning. Oh boy. MJ, move forward. Move forward. Okay. The Rhino's getting in position to tank, which is just going to save our colonists a little bit. And they're now both stunned. And we have another one approaching. It's fine. The Rhinos are holding that first position, so even though there's no column here, we should be okay. One with the minigun approaches now. Is not stunned. 2 of them are not stunned. We might get some fire here. Okay, now can we activate? Anyone that's not on fire, please activate. We're losing people. We're losing people. Activate, activate, activate. Go back down here. Oh boy, get back down into position. Get back down into position. Yeah, it's still on fire. We gotta get those rhinos back into position. Yet is the one controlling them. Good. Good, good, good. And so now you're continuing to fight. The fire is definitely a concern, which is one of the reasons that I have the fire foam steel foam turret is a fire foam turret. You can also use regular fire foam, but we have steel foam in this one. And we're doing a lot of damage, but we're working on these. Our colonists have taken some damage themselves, of course. The burns in particular. And there we are. So now, if you look at the map, you'll see that there are no more mechs. No more mechs on the map. Most of them, some of them, were taken out by the traps. But as you saw, the centipedes definitely will not go down to your traps. And this mech cluster will produce more mechs. Because there's a mech assembler, there will be a pikeman assembled in 0.3 days for 4 additional pikemen. This is important to note because it means that you're not essentially done just when you kill the initial mechs. There are potential mechs to be spawned. So make sure you pay attention to that. In this case, again, our auto mortar is going to continue firing at us. So we have no choice but to find some folks to take over. I'm going to find some folks to take over the mortars. Let's watch. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, so they're going to get where we were instead of where we are, which is great. Looks like there was another one maybe landed down here. See if we can direct them a little bit better. So I'd love to see the auto mortar get hit. So let's aim for that. There we go. That's what we're talking about. The low shield and the auto mortar are stunned. So if you didn't have these turrets, that would be a perfect time to run in and take them out with guns. But of course, these are not stunned. And there we go. So there was an unstable power node, which can act as an explosive and explode the things around it, especially if you're using mortars. It's very unlikely to preserve the unstable power cell. Need to take out those turrets. And your colonists will take a while using mortars. There's quite a large miss vicinity. A lot of people they'll use mods to make it easier, to make it better. And I kind of understand that, you know, it's frustrating to constantly be missing like this. Is there someone who's rested? Who can shoot? No. Are you taking care of your baby? Disease infection? Sure. And there's only 2 turrets left. At this point, you could possibly go out and take them out, but we're just showing the mortar method this time around. Our shield is not intercepting anything. And you see, I mean, it takes a while. They're really not getting these. There we go. 44% now. Long. Slow. They have one turret left, so we'll let a few new people finish up, and then we will try a different method. This method takes a while, uses a lot of mortar shells. Also, one of the most important things about this method is how much it destroys the loot from... how much it destroys the loot from the mechanoid cluster. We're just sitting here waiting for them to explode this, but we're also destroying all the other things that were here. So we'll see how much we have at the end, but it's probably not going to be very much. Oh my gosh. There it is. So now, how much do we get out of this? We have 33 plasteel, 1 Militor that can be shredded, and then we have 60 steel. And some slag chunks. Everything else was completely destroyed from the constant mortaring. Also, because of how long it took both to stand here drafted to deal with these mechs, wait for them to come down and deal with them, and also how long people were set up mortaring. We had a lot of mental breaks. We have a lot of people at low moods. We did take some injuries, but a lot of this that you see here, there were 2 people that got into a social fight. We also mostly took injuries from the burns, from the inferno, from the centipede. Okay, for attempt number 2, we will be working on building some traps. Sparrow's going to be building these traps for me, and they are assigned to a very specific zone, a handcrafted zone. I guess I need to force it because they've decided to work on other things. Like this isn't really important or something. They're making me very nervous, but they should stay within their zone. We're building at least 2 spaces away from any of the mechanoid cluster buildings. Wait. Is that going to count? I think it has to be that. Well, we'll see. Okay, and one last one. And you see how Sparrow's walking around because of their allowed zone? If they can, they'll typically stay and walk around like that. All right. Good job, Sparrow. Now, don't forget, we're still getting mortared. That hit Squid? No. Everyone's okay. So I would say we probably want to activate these mechs, have them come and get us. And hopefully they'll hit the IED traps and the explosive traps. There we go. Switch to high explosive yet. And everyone continue to attack. Looks like they did hit this, but it didn't take anyone out. It did do significant damage to the Militor and Scyther in the front, the 2 Militors and the Scyther in the front. Okay, that's great. So not only did that EMP stun the low shield, but it stunned the auto mortar, one of the turrets, and one of the centipedes, as well as the Scyther and a pikeman. what that's going to do is buy us some extra time. Let's try to hit the auto mortar specifically. Another mental break from one of the same people, Meg. And once again, we need to remind Squid to take care of the child. All right, these two are still operating the turret. The high shield is still out. The low shield is going. The auto mortar is going. And the centipede is no longer stunned. The rest of the group a little ways ahead. Ooh. Surprised the unstable power cell wasn't hit with that one. The Scythers and Militar going out to some traps in the front. Okay. I need to get Emo to eat, and then I'm going to have them come back. Cyan, continue running it. Let's just double check that we don't have a need for another EMP. This mortar's still alive. All right. Emo forced attack there. Cyan's forced attack is going to be over here now. Okay, and it's time to fight. Centipedes are approaching. This time we're a little bit improved with fire foam popper. We also have a table for post-battle meals. Come on, Bree. Good, perfect. Rhinos are doing a lot of work. The rhinos definitely do a lot of the work. In this case, they're kind of moving forward, preventing us from getting our proper choke point. And there it is. We should have the fire foam popper go off. Blackkeeper move forward. MJ take Blackkeeper's position. Sparrow and Jay move forward. And these folks come back. Please. Pretty please. Where's Meg going? To this table, maybe? We're covered in fire foam, but we're doing it. If those are actually, if they're doing most of the tanking, we could move. Let's let Black Sparrow go and move Tova up. Tova actually can melee if we get into that position. We don't want that to happen, but... Blackkeeper's getting a meal to eat here. Perfect. We almost got mortared, but that's it for the mechs. Now, once again, some injuries. A little bit of a burn here or there. No one's really properly injured. Everyone's doing pretty good. And we kept 2 people operating the mortars. continuing to work towards getting rid of this. Now, they didn't really do that great of a job. Now, we could continue to do this. But I need to give people a chance to get tended and feel a little bit better. And then I think we're going to go up there. Stay out of range. Ooh, there it is. A little bit of the Inferno turret. Watch yourselves. Insulting spree emote. That's not great, but they should stay with the group. Now, we have smoke. Actually, the melee pawns really don't need to be here. There's nothing that they're going to do. So let's bring them back. And there it is. We just got mortared in the face, which is awesome. You three, I'm going to need you here. Mitch, you can also join. Zion. Mitch, you stay there. Tova over here. Yed, please self-tend. Jay, get into the smoke. And then do more smoke cover right here. Let us move forward. Come on. Come on. Okay. This group, move forward. One of the rhinos is down. Yed, are you self-tending? Please self-tend. Mitch. Rescue the rhino. Tova, stay here. It would be nice if Bree could get the mortar, but I don't think that's realistic. Jay, continue to put smoke cover over you and your friends, please. And we can go home. But we took care of the mech cluster, and let's see how much we had left. In this case, we got a reinforced barrel because of that auto mortar. That's awesome. We also got some plasteel. A little bit more steel, maybe. A few more. Some slag. For the most part, it was just as destroyed as it was last time. And maybe we took a little bit more damage. But, as you may recall, we were getting some notifications about reinforced barrels. We didn't use nearly as much of both our shells or our charges until the next barrel change. We did get a lot more of our structures mortared. If you look around a little bit, we have some definite damage to repair. These folks obviously got hurt. There were some issues with the Inferno getting a shot on them. I probably could have been a little bit more careful with the smoke cover to make that a little bit more effective. And then in the next test, I will do just that. We will approach acting as though we don't have mortars at all. Sometimes you do get hit with a mechanoid cluster when you do not have mortars. What do? Well, you're going to have to go out there and fight them. So let's do that next. All right, time to do our pretending we don't have any mortars test. In this case, I have smoke cover for Bree. I have some backup folks, as well as Jay, continuing to cover Bree. Bree has the EMPs, so I'm hoping we can maybe activate them, maybe just by hitting the shield. Can you do that? We gotta hit the low shield, I think. Let's have Jay move up and provide cover a little bit more forward. Oh, move over, move over. Don't get hit. Scatter. Good. All right. Can you hit this? Just move forward a little bit more. Hit your top corner here. That might hit it. Jay, move forward. This is very risky, but when you don't have mortars and you have a mech cluster to deal with, what else are you gonna do? Right? We're gonna try once again to hit this low shield. All right, you folks come down here. Black Sparrow, go here. Mitch, come back. Jay, continue to provide cover. Sparrow, we're going to have you awaken the cluster. Hold on. Go ahead, awaken the cluster. Ideally, you would get a shot off on the Scyther, but I'm not going to risk that. Let's just have you hit one of the turrets. And run. Run. All of you run. So Sparrow obviously needs to run. I chose Sparrow because they're in recon armor, which means not only are they well armored, but they have one of the faster moving armors. Recon armor doesn't slow you down at all, so Sparrow is able to run. And luckily, the EMP trap did get the fast group of mechs, which is awesome. We are being approached. The house is getting mortared. Oof. Ouch. Back up, back up. Oh boy. Oh boy. There's no fire from here, of course. Bree, get in. They're stunned. If we can get back into position, it'll be okay. Darl, come. Stand here. MJ, come back. Ilana, put out the fire. Do what you gotta do. Get forward. Ranger the dog has died. That is very depressing. Okay, Ilana, move forward. Blackkeeper, right here. Sparrow, right here. Zion's running away because they're still on fire. And a Rhino is trying to tank. That's what happens when you have animals. They kind of take the front line, but they also die. Would be interesting to see how this battle would have gone without the Rhinos at all. Are you EMPing? The Rhinos going in and out of this door is not great. Not great. Not supposed to have that door open. Much better. Much better. Darl should be involved. It looks like we have a Rhino taking the third choke point, which is fine. Blackkeeper's down on the ground. We could see about having Squid rescue. Maybe. This is pretty intense, for sure. Just trying to see if they can get line of sight. Doesn't appear they can. Rhinos are doing good work. Centipedes are not getting shots off, at least not at present. Blackkeeper's being rescued. They'll be okay. The rhinos are all in pretty rough shape. One of them on fire. Dog's on fire. MJ rescue this one. And you're going to want to get everyone tended. So we have Squid already working on it. Darryl, maybe you can tend some folks too. Don't hit the hospital. Oh my gosh. It's rough, right? It's pretty rough. This is not the best. Because that auto mortar's still going. We took out the Mechs, but the auto mortar's still going. So, we gotta kind of go back out there. Okay. Jay, you're gonna need to put some smoke cover right here. Everyone, including Jay, get under the smoke. Now, Jay, continue. Our low shield is down. So if we can get up there, we can shoot at them. The auto mortar has detected us. Murderous Rage Zion. Well, okay. Bree, arrest Zion. Good luck. Don't get hit by turrets. Yeah. Bree, this way. This way. Okay. Jay, you're gonna need to keep going. Still got a couple people. We can do this. Ooh. One of those hit. Get under the cover. We need the EMPs. Can Bree Warden? Yes. Bree. This is very risky, but I need them. Okay. Jay, please continue to cover yourselves. Okay, now forward. Everyone move forward. And then get the rest of the group up, except for Jay. Have them all work on it. Bree, please EMP. If Bree could move forward and not get hit because of the wall, maybe Bree can EMP up there. Jay, you're gonna have to move forward and get better smoke on your friends. And we have a pikeman. And we have no melee fighters with us. Jay, move forward. Shoot right here, please. You three. Move in here. Emo back. Bree forward. This is rough, but this is what you can do. You can go and hope for the best and bring the rest of your fighters out, you know? Looks like the pikeman's approaching. Continue to work on the turrets. Now, Bree is going to need to move forward. Not yet. Jay here, Bree here. All right. Jay, get us some cover right here. It's going to attack this turret, but that's fine with me right now. This is the... We don't have mortars. We probably wouldn't have turrets. I usually go for mortars first because of how useful they are, to be honest. All right, Bree. Other folks, run out there. No, 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 no. This way. Keep covering them. Can you EMP here? Shoot that. Shoot that. Shoot that. And let's go see about this pikeman. Awesome. So now shooties, please attack this. Where you continue to do your thing. In this case, we're gonna maybe try to save a shield, if possible. Or at least this one. It'd be great to get a shield core. And everyone that came up here is fine right now. Completely fine. And we got a shield core. I mean, don't get me wrong, they took some damage. The worst part is this one injury. Everything else was from before. All right, go in. Get in. Ilana, get next to them. Folks come surrounded on the other side. Let's just kill it. Let's get it. I think Zion might need to just go. Bree as well. We're already done. But yeah, we did it, and people are, for the most part, okay. You know, we didn't lose anyone, and there's no permanent damage even on the person that took the biggest injury. Moods are a thing. You know, Zion's in pretty rough shape from that, but that's always going to happen when you're playing on a high difficulty. In this case, we do have a high shield that we can deconstruct for a shield core. The mech nodes aren't really worth anything. There is steel once again, glass steel once again, a little bit less than before. But that's definitely another method for dealing with a mech cluster. Were any of these methods perfect? No. I would say that the mortars kept our colonists the safest, using primarily just mortars, and dealing with the mechs in our defenses was the thing that kept us the safest. But I think we got a little bit of a boost when we went out there and we put the IEDs down. Instead of just using shells, which have pretty bad miss radius, and we tend to be working on it for a long time, when we put the IEDs down, we saw some pretty good targeted attacks on those mechs that were approaching. And that was really nice method. I think there could be some fun other things you could potentially do. You could definitely use aerial drone strikes through royalty, right? This is a royalty event, but royalty also gives you things like aerial drone strikes with permits. And the base game does have orbital bombardment targeters as well, which can be really useful in these scenarios. Of course, also an anti-grain warhead. As you all know, I love using an anti-grain warhead on something like a siege or a mech cluster. Just make sure that if you're going to use the anti-grain warhead, that you first use an EMP to deactivate your high shield. This was fun. I hope something educational came from this. I think it was definitely interesting to see how the different scenarios played out with the impact on your people. Obviously, not having mortars is very rough. And now you can probably see why I would say that I'd research them before turrets. But definitely making sure that your colonists are well equipped, making sure that you do have EMP grenades as quickly as possible can really make a difference in handling mechanoids and mechanoid clusters. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.